What's up, everyone? In today's video, I want to talk about how you can really increase your chances in making a successful career change. Now, first off, during this process, really comes down to what are the hard skills and soft skills that you have. If you are in your 20s or 30s and you're trying to make this career change, you really want to be making the leap where you can really highlight how your previous experience is relevant to the current one. Because recruiting and hiring managers would want to see how is this person going to help fulfill this role. So without further ado, let's get started. The first step is to take an inventory. And for this inventory, there are essentially hard skills and soft skills that you really want to focus on. Hard skills would be the skills such as coding, such as working with different software. Soft skills, on the other hand, would be something like cross-functional collaboration, communication. It's the people stuff that's really required to build trust within a team and with other stakeholders as well. So by taking an inventory and listing all that stuff out, you really start planning towards how does my previous experience work towards fulfilling my future desired experience, right? Your future role that you want to get into. So an essential first step is to really take this inventory. Now, the next step after this is obviously figure out, well, you've done the research, you've done information interviews, you've done desk research and figuring out, hey, what this new career that you desire to transition into, what does that entail, right? After you've done all that, go and take that inventory and map it onto, hey, what does this new role or new career that I want to pursue have? Like, what are the things that they need? And so by having an inventory of what you are and what you need to have, you're able to really start building those bridges and connecting the dots. Because at the end of the day, the hiring manager or recruiter who want to sit down and have that conversation with you and to find that perfect candidate, it's not going to be easy for them to connect the dots by having that short glance on your resume and seeing like, oh wait, this person is not what I'm looking for. If you're able to connect the dots for them, it actually makes it a lot easier. And an easy way of doing that is actually going on LinkedIn and finding people who are currently doing exactly what you want to do. Go into their LinkedIn, go down to the bottom and look at their skills and start seeing and reading how they present these skills, whether it's in their information or whether it's in their past experiences and everything. A lot of this stuff is available online. So go and take a look at what people are saying about themselves who are currently working in roles that you want to work in, and then you know how to follow suit because it's all about signaling, right? They're able to signal that they're career insiders, and you want to signal, even though you're not an insider yet, you want to signal that, hey, I know what I'm talking about, I have what it takes, I just need the opportunity. And hiring managers and recruiters all want to find the people who can fulfill these roles. So definitely that is the next step you want to do. Now, after taking inventory of what other people have on their LinkedIn, you really want to move that into your resume and cover letter and also highlight these things in your interview. So think about it like a funnel, right? At the top of the funnel is you really want to get people interested. So that's really the resume, and that's really the cover letter or LinkedIn profile that you have. You want to dispel any questions and make people believe that, hey, this is the person that we really want, and that's through signaling that you're an insider, like I mentioned earlier. Now, the next step of the funnel is the interview, right? So in that interview, you want to make sure, and it's usually the recruiter interview actually that goes first. So you speak to the recruiter and the recruiter makes sure like, hey, this person's qualified, right? Before passing this candidate on to the hiring manager. Sometimes it's a hiring manager, sometimes it's a team member that does the first interview. Every team is different. But by passing you on to the next step, you are further down in the funnel, and then you take each step along the way. There might be a skills test, there might be a team interview, there might be, a variety of things, and eventually you make it down to the bottom of the funnel. Now, you got to understand, it's a long process, and making a career transition, the first steps are the hardest to break through, right? Because you really want to make sure that you get to that conversation. Now, once you're in that conversation, the tactics are a little bit different. And I can dive into that in the future, but in terms of getting into that interview, that's really what the step is. If you want to have a list of skills, hard skills and soft skills that let you into that conversation. So that's why you got to highlight these relevant skills in your resume, in your LinkedIn, in your cover letter, if that's an option, and so on. And for all of these skills, you want to have kind of like a story jukebox that's available so that whenever people ask you about the skill, you're able to pull out a story and explain, this was the situation, this is the task that was at hand, I took this action, and then this led to a certain result. And you want to signal that you can solve people's problems. Fundamentally, companies are hiring people to solve problems, right? So you want to highlight that, hey, I've done it in this kind of situation. Now, even if you don't have that industry experience, because fundamentally, if you're making a career change, you are not from that industry. So you have to take similar experiences and make it easy for the recruiter or the hiring manager to really just map it on to, hey, this person has done it in the past. In a different situation, they're just lacking the nuances of a particular experience, but that's easy to pick up. And people understand that career changers, they typically don't have that industry experience, but they might have that functional experience. And that's it. This is an essential step because at the end of the day, as a career transitioner or career changer, your past experiences, you probably will not have that industry experience, but you will have that functional experience. And you want to make it easy by having a list of hard skills and soft skills to map it onto the future context so that people are willing to give you a shot. Last but not least, I'll throw in a bonus tip, is that what I've found the most useful when I look at other people's resumes and I've found success with my clients is that you really should have a skill section. Specifically, you should have a hard skills section where you highlight the relevant hard skills and also a soft skill section. I find the soft skill section sometimes to be a little bit fluffy, so be mindful that it may not be always necessary, but I think the hard skills and perhaps even a software section is essential. And the easiest way to actually find what's relevant, and yeah, I know I mentioned earlier that you can look at people's LinkedIn profiles, I forgot another place, is that you know that job description, make sure you go into that job description and scrape out what are all the hard skills that are required and make sure you have them. And if you don't have them, be honest about it, right? Because sometimes they want similar experience. So for example, they might ask for a certain coding language, but you don't have that coding language, you have something that's similar. The main thing is they want to make sure you know how to code, right? And then perhaps you can throw in a story saying you're a fast learner, this is how you quickly adapted in different situations so that you can alleviate those concerns. And that's it. That's how you can really identify the transferable skills that you have so that you can make a successful transition to another industry. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, I hope you give it a like, a follow, share, subscribe. All right,